Peace FM 104.3. Good to meet you.
But Grandpapa, in the recent political history, yet there in your Gabi Ochida Kwakwa visit former president. And there was fury in Ghana. Grandpapa, we are sick people. But you see, I was expecting there, if the chief of staff would have made that overture and talked to the people on the other side.
They're creating the
it
bridge.
is part of diplomacy, Grandpapa. The fury was that Gabriel Chidako is not an official government official. It's not official government.
Yeah.
And I understand that. But hold on. I think that is diplomacy.
That is it.
When you go and speak to each other, Grandpapa, we are Ghanaians. We are not enemies.
At all.
We are not enemies as these two people want us to think that we are. We are not enemies.
The two parties.
Yes, those two parties. They
And
want us to we are not
you.
enemies, Grandpapa. When there are challenges of facing a nation, Grandpapa, you rise to the occasion. You see, in other jurisdictions, the president starts to invite the leaders of the legislature into his private chamber. Sometimes walk for retreat in order to make a case. And sometimes the person on the other side might have one or two requests. You grant the request in the name of peace, in the name of consensus building, in the name of democracy. Grandpapa, may I want or a mockery of democracy, or a mockery that they be a use strong arm tactics. Strong arm tactics.
Well, it's because of 137, 137 Wabandam. Sanya Fuseni can say, Osasa 9, all this heat would die down.
Wow, General.
Yes.
Wow, Nyameli Biwa. I agree, say, I was see a national interest. My memory starts me. Sure. In 2016, as a nation, 3 line items away a budget. Statutory funds, NHIS, get funding, interest payments, a kaya dene ho ense ho any compensation. Now 141% of year tax revenues. In 2021, said 3 items here 146.5% of your tax revenues. This way no a national issue. See intimi break say cycle yi as a nation here we cannot make any strides towards our developmental efforts. And ye nyina ye nimo say ya bedu bebia busuabo ewe bruchire enye option. The aban can say yes sase ne ye nyama. Let's try and raise our revenues locally. Say rating agencies
local businesses.
Rating agencies ne yinya eba no. Ni nyina no efa say because agencies here are not sure cross say budget na dey to one say ye can say ye be receive revenue betimi arity. And the Minister of Finance in a pam for omunam hamlet to hamlet a consultation. Make us say every member of parliament on 4 issues but you vote here a consensus. And then answer. I don't come on office a doom pen so because of their numbers no you bet na parliament now you see your numbers no at the train abide abafom. And what's the national interest? Are you using your peculiar situation to frustrate government to your advantage? Where is the national interest? I want to see a dream echo. NDC need be if you speak to the NDC MPs, they tell you say on this e-levy, we are day. Yeah, in support. So I might also say this is the way we have to go. It's obvious. So I was say you start say a doom pen so I was say sika ye de be to umpuntu juma sika ye de be running your government we have to raise it local.
Interestingly, Obichima dream baby biso about consultation and consensus building. Or say who says there hadn't been consultations between the minority and the majority? You remember Haruna Idrisu, the minority leader, publicly indicated that after an interaction with the finance minister, he had been persuaded to agree to 1.5%. But his public concession was shut down by his own colleagues and party fanatics.
Exactly.
So at the end of the day,
I don't bring consensus with people who have taken entrenched positions.
No, Grandpapa. The nature of consensus building On Saturday, one meeting or a BB, 1 year, no, every consensus building. But it doesn't mean that
it doesn't mean there's one person.
Remember,
and maybe not one person.
Yes, it's not one person. Remember, and there's never. It doesn't also mean that it is the effort, 1 or 2 efforts that people don't recognize.
But who lead that?
Let me make a point.
Consensus building, it's a way of life. It's a way of thinking. It is not a situational activity. When you have a thinking, what be a part of psychological profile that you are ready.
You are the chairman of PPP.
Yes, sir.
Sir, Echina Abechane Kansem, there you believe that PPP, as part of its position, there we think the E-levy should come to 1.5. You are not an ordinary member of the party. You are the national chairman. To the minority leading. Now, it can be our vice in our general secretary publicly was so power.
Yeah, but Grandpa, had I engaged in consensus building from my grassroots to make that statement? Me too man can't find shep will be nano without a due process. Grandpa, the nature of consensus building, or your way of life, or your way of thinking, or your way there, we will find a way to make it together. In your demo mindset now, Grandpapa, you are able to overcome challenges now. Oberba in your way in the process of consensus building. Grandpapa, or a two-way street. It being a prof, it's not just the advocate and the receiver. Or a two-way street. But Grandpapa, we have identified with this very room. They're part of the problem with the E-levy obey some surprise, spontaneous that people were not prepared for. And as a result, when they hit us, that is why we revise what notes are. A nationwide consensus building. My grandpa, you can't go and meet 200 people in the north, 200 people in the east, 200 people in the south, and come and tell us that a consensus building. That is not how you do consensus building. It is a way in which it represented the information to people for them. What digest, what what process, what jatum, and neither what some inputs are also be taken as a corrective. Now I build the BBI they can all hold. Consensus building is speech making.
Okay.
Consensus building is not speech making. Consensus building is a way of thinking. The good psychologist professor here will agree to this, that it is the way in which you do your things, your modus operandi. There is sincerity in oh no, or the margin or the back. So we understand. You see, in one hand, you can't talk about raising revenue locally and destroying local businesses. Some of these things are incongruent. These things don't match. When you look at some of the policies now, it must be uniform.
Incongruent.
Come on. Or you're consistent in your way of
Coming back, no.
Peace FM 104.3. Good to meet you.